At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
Love, exciting and new. Hello, Hannah Waddingham here. Have you seen the fabulous new Sun Princess? World-class entertainment, exceptional dining, and the greatest pizza ever. It's a love.
Don't miss our Come Aboard sale with up to 40% off and free room upgrades. Visit princess.com or call your travel advisor to book. Princess Cruises. Terms and restrictions apply. Offer ends 2/28/25. Ships are Bermudan and British Registry.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Please, these gays, they're trying to murder me.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Banterly, the Gen Z podcast about pop culture, media, and everything in between. My name is Aidan, and today, Maya Shetty's back with us from a 1-week hiatus.
I missed you guys. It's been so long.
How's your last couple weeks been?
My last couple weeks have been great. I've been in a very good mood, and I think it's because I just joined a gym, and I've been going to the gym quite a bit. And who knew that endorphins make you happy? That is the news to me. I feel like an entirely different person now that I'm going to the gym, and it's just been such a good addition to my life. I hope I can keep up with it because I'm really bad about making good habits. I usually break them, and then once I break them, I just self-loathe and realize that I need to break it altogether. But I'm feeling good. I have an accountability buddy, and the gym's been my biggest life update, and I'm happy to just take care of myself a bit more. You also joined a gym recently, right?
Mm-hmm.
And are you?
We're both on our fitness journey. I also, within the past few weeks, have joined a gym that has, like yours, included classes within the membership. And I've exercised more in the past 2 weeks than I probably have in my whole life. I'm a little addicted to it. Like, I check the app. The classes at mine, you can only sign up for them 24 hours in advance. So I'm like checking the app, notifications, like, and just booking things like, oh, like I have time to do this. Oh, let me just push that in. And then like, oh, I'll just do that. Like, it's like, oh my God. And it's just so easy and accessible. And I'm obsessed. I get it. I totally get why people love the gym.
I get it too. And I can't tell if it's in, because like there's toxic gym culture, and I can't tell if I'm subscribing to that. But I really used to live my life thinking that I had no time to go to the gym every day, and that I couldn't fit into my schedule, and that an hour was too long. And I have gone 5 days a week for the past 2 weeks, and it's been a busy 2 weeks, and it's fit perfectly into my schedule. If you want something, you make it happen. And I'm just, again, hoping that we ride that wave.
Literally. I hope I don't crash out, but I feel very confident in us because I feel like we're in it to win it.
Great.
Other than us starting our fitness journeys, a big thing that happened in pop culture this week is the SNL 50th anniversary.
I'm Steve Martin, Saturday Night Live's newest diversity hire. And what a thrill it is to be here. When I heard that SNL wanted to do an anniversary special, I literally wanted to leap into the air. And the only reason I didn't is because at the time I was wearing a short skirt with no underwear.
And it was a weekend special where Friday night there was an opening concert and Sunday night was the 2.5-hour special, basically celebrating the 50th anniversary of SNL. There were so many celebrities, so many cameos of past SNL actors and cast members and hosts. And everybody and their mother seemed to be at Radio City this past weekend.
Everyone and their mother is an understatement. It was everyone, their mother, their mom's mom, their babysitters, their childhood friends, their dogs. Like, I had seen the promo for SNL 50 all over, and I'd been hearing a lot about it, but I did not think it would be as big of a production. I have no idea how they booked this many people for one night. I feel like there were more celebrities in NBC studios than at the Grammys or Oscars. It was insane.
It was like, you're right, everybody and their mother's mother. The most FOMO I've ever had for a celebrity gathering. I've never been jealous about the Oscars, never been jealous about the Grammys, but I was jealous about this SNL 50 concert. It just felt like, wow, this is the place to be on Friday and Sunday night.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler.
What a night. Well, even after 50 years, there are still things about SNL that people don't know.
So we are here to answer any questions people still have about the show.
Yeah.
Don't be shy. Just raise your hand.
A favorite moment that I wouldn't say it was my favorite because it was so amazing. I was just kind of shocked was the Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively little appearance. Tina Fey and Amy Poehler were doing their little thing on stage, kind of going around the audience, talking to different celebrities who would stand up. Ryan Reynolds stand up and they're like, "Oh, Ryan, like, how are you doing?"
Ryan Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
I was like, oh, this is an interesting move considering the lawsuits that your wife is involved in, that you've been dragged into, and Taylor Swift has been dragged. It's just like, oh, wow, you're just going to SNL and making a joke about it. Well, I guess to each their own.
If they're in the room and they're that close to you have to mention it, right? I think you have to mention it. And I'm happy that it was a joke because it should be poking fun at them, but it didn't sit right with me. But I'm happy that they made a joke about it instead of ignoring it because it was a huge elephant in the room. Even on the red carpet, I was just thinking to myself, this is so weird.
Guess you got to just keep trucking and keep living your life. So
yeah, life keeps moving.
Justin Baldoni sure is smiling and photo shoots and paparazzi shots across states. He's always hugging a fan, always at the beach, swimming. So guess you got to do what you got to do. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking all about White Lotus. Season 3 just dropped on February 16th. And this show, every time it comes out, is always a cultural phenomenon. And so I'm excited to get into it because this seems like it's going to be the start of my favorite season. I don't know about you.
I feel this exact same way. I was telling my roommate today, I have a gut feeling that this is going to be the best season. And I like season 2 a lot. I like the first one too, but second season was my baby, and this season 3 has a good energy to it. I'm excited to talk about it.
Me too. But to kick off our discussion, our question of the day today is, if White Lotus did a season in your dream vacation spot, where would it be and what drama would unfold?
My dream White Lotus season would take place on a luxury cruise ship. I don't know how it would happen exactly because it's really centered around a few families, and I feel like cruise ships are very dense with people, but they make those really, really expensive, lovely yachts with the nice Michelin star chefs and the beautiful scenic views and lots of stops. And I think it would be hilarious to do a White Lotus where they're trapped on a boat and there's nowhere to escape, kind of like reality style Below Deck. But I think a lot of drama would happen. It would be really easy to murder someone because I'm convinced that being on a cruise ship with people, especially irritable people, which is a common thread of White Lotus, is there are a lot of irritating people in the same room together. I think a cruise ship would be perfect. There would be so much drama. Buffet, pool deck, at the tennis courts. I just think it would be perfect. And I think that the boat sinking at the end would also be a good element.
Iceberg, right ahead!
Damn, like who dies? Everybody.
Everybody.
Would the cruise ship be in tropical? Do you have like a destination? Would it travel from city to city? Would it stay like what? Where would it be geographically?
This is a great question because they've never done a cold weather White Lotus. So I think that it could be an Alaskan cruise. But would White Lotus even have the feeling of White Lotus if it were somewhere cold? I don't think it would. I feel like the whole beach resort tropics is such a big part of some of the stories that I don't know. We'd have to workshop it. But I also think a ski resort would be fun. And I think Alaska would just be cool. What about you? Where would you ideally want to see White Lotus season 4?
So I think it's time for something in Africa. Now, personally, Africa isn't at the top of my dream travel list, but it is up there. But I think it would be cool to kind of mix in a family, a wealthy Black family who's now part of the mix, who's part of the reason they went to Africa. It's like a safari tour, by the way. That's my vision. Part of the reason this wealthy Black family went to Africa is to try and uncover their roots, do a little ancestry tracing. So you have them, which we've never had a wealthy Black family or Black people. They're always like the friend that's invited or the staff. So it would be nice to see like what that dynamic would be like among a bunch of the traditional White Lotus families that are just there to, take pictures with children and post on their Instagram and lions and, I think that could be kind of interesting, different plot lines, and then the vibes between the white family and the Black family and the Black family and the local people and the Black family and their goals and the white family and their, I think it could be kind of...
This is kind of like what they did in season 2 with the Degrassi family. Remember that? The grandpa, the dad, and the son, they went to go find their roots in Italy. It would be so different if they did it in Africa and they were amongst all of the whites that they were traveling with. I love this idea. Mike White, I know you're listening. I know he's told me personally he's a big fan of this podcast, and I want him to do it. I want him to do it.
That would be good. Hey, I would love to be cast in it. I'll work there. I don't care. I'll be in the family. I'll be a friend of. I just want to be on the show. Today's episode, we're going to be diving deep and reacting to the season premiere called Same Spirits, New Forms.
Morning.
Somebody's got to try that, and you're the only one who's single.
What happens in Thailand stays in Thailand.
One of our regulars was just asking me about you.
Really?
He has a lovely girlfriend, but he seems interested in you.
I think we should call the police.
We are not calling the police.
Like I said, the third season came out February 16th. There are currently 2 episodes out on Max. And for anybody who hasn't seen the show before, it's a satirical TV series that follows wealthy guests and employees at a luxury resort called the White Lotus over the course of a week. And how it works is in the first episode, we figure out that someone has died. And then you spend the whole episode retracing the week, meeting these characters, the drama that unfolds, and then at the end we figure out how that person died and who died, because it's all kind of a mystery. It's all kind of eerie.
The first 2 seasons have a very specific tone, and they're like a little bit different. I think they took different creative routes. So the first season of White Lotus takes place in Hawaii. The second one takes place in Sicily, and this season we're in Thailand. So again, very different parts of the world. And I think that's a big part of the show, obviously, is where these big points of tourism are and how the white people, the Westerners go and make it their own, make it about them, create some drama, and someone dies.
I said in the beginning that this season feels like it'll be my favorite because I'm ashamed to admit it, but I didn't love the first season. It was all the rage, won a bunch of awards, but I couldn't really get into it. I kept watching it, of course, for a couple reasons, because I did enjoy aspects of it, but also I wanted to keep up with the culture so I could get the references. But then the second season, I actually did enjoy. And then this third season, this first episode, I'm like, whoa, this is just good. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to think about if I like it or not. I just like it.
I completely agree. The first season I liked, but it wasn't really character focused. I didn't really care for the plot, but the only person I actually cared about was the manager, who had the most interesting storyline. And the good part about the show, where it's kind of the Bear-esque, where it like makes you stressed and like the music's really intense and you feel like you're watching something go by in flashes. That part I got in season 1 only from the manager, but season 2 there was so much drama and so much character development and plot. So I'm with you on the second season is definitely my favorite, but the third one just, I don't know, there's something about it. It just feels like Mike put his whole back into it when he was making it.
Let's dive into this premiere.
This season begins like the prior seasons have begun, where we meet all of our characters on a boat as they're entering the resort. So it's always, again, the same shot of all of these families and couples and friends on this boat. This time we're meeting a few different characters. We have a family, we have a couple, and we have a group of friends. Those are the three we need to focus on. And then we also have Belinda, who's a reoccurring character, who is a staff member from the first season at the White Lotus in Hawaii and is now coming to Thailand.
I saw a TikTok that described this season's cast of more of a where do I know them from cast. Like they're all very recognizable faces. And once you look at their filmography, you're like, oh my gosh, they're in so much. But it's not like Sydney Sweeney from season 1 or Aubrey Plaza from season 2 or Jennifer Coolidge from season 1 and 2, where it's like that is a person, you know their name, you know what they've been in. It's not a guessing game of where do I know you from? But I kind of like that aspect of everyone's kind of under the radar and excited to see some careers skyrocket after this, like Megan Fahey's career in season 2.
I appreciate so much that after the first season was such a success, and the second season was the most star-studded by far, in my opinion. I feel like those names are just everywhere and they just have grown from that. It's so refreshing to know that Mike White chose to have kind of a no-name cast in the third season, because I'm sure so many big A-listers, B-listers were interested in doing these roles. So it's kind of nice that he didn't choose anyone that would be on a red carpet.
No, I agree. And I actually, to dive into the characters a little bit, I think the Ratliff family has the most A-list people.
Long layover in Doha, but it's all forgotten now.
We flew over the North Pole.
How did you find us, may I ask?
Well, Piper here is a senior, thank you, at Chapel Hill.
I was also a Tar Heel, but Timothy went to Duke. Saxon graduated Duke. Lachlan, our youngest, just got accepted to both. So you can imagine, it's a whole thing.
And she's
It's a family of 5. They're from North Carolina, very Southern. And the dad, Timothy, is played by Jason Isaacs. And I did not recognize this man. I don't mean to sound ridiculous, but I did not know who this man was because I'm used to seeing him in a long platinum blonde wig because he plays Lucius Malfoy.
Now, Draco, play nicely. Mr. Potter. Lucius Malfoy. We meet at last.
I was shook. I was like, wow, you look exactly like you did 20 some odd years ago. So good for him. His wife, Victoria, is played by Parker Posey. And then the children, Saxon, Piper, and Lachlan, are played by Patrick Schwarzenegger, Sarah Catherine Hook, and Sam Nivola.
We also meet a very interesting couple who has a bit of a strange dynamic. Rick Hatchett, played by Walton Goggins. He plays the man in this relationship who seems to be stressed the entire episode about something that we can't quite figure out. And we have his girlfriend, Chelsea, who's played by Amy Lou Wood. She's very free-spirited and kind and kind of bubbly, but also kind of intuitive individual. And she cracked me up the entire episode. She's definitely there for comedic relief and fabulous outfits because she looked so good.
Yeah, you need to sort your shit out. You've got issues.
I've got issues?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're the one who's crazy.
Ooh! Hey, maybe we should get fucked up tonight, you know? Last hurrah before our detox. Let's have fun, okay? Think about it.
Then we have my personal favorite of this entire episode, which are this friend group of blonde women. All 3 of them are childhood friends, and they clearly live in different cities now, and they haven't had a big girls trip in a while, and they kind of fit into the role of old friends.
And then lastly, the resort staff. The biggest name on the resort staff is Lisa, aka Lalisa Manoble, who is Lisa from Blackpink. She plays Mook, who is a health mentor on staff. And now I am not the biggest K-pop fan. Obviously, I know what Blackpink is, but I had no idea. And she's definitely the biggest person on the cast. But again, when you're in a band, it's hard to differentiate yourself. And she's trying and going off on her own like a lot of those members are. But still, where do I know you from? And then another character is Guy Talk, who's the security guard. He's in love with Lisa's character, Mook. And then lastly, we meet the co-owner of this White Lotus location, So those are the characters. We went through a long one. I hope you can keep up with all these names, but all you got to know is it's a bunch of familiar faces, not a whole lot of familiar names, but so far, a lot of talent. What were your general thoughts about the whole thing when you first watched it?
We have to talk about the executive decision that struck the nation. We have to talk about it's gone. There's no more theme song, and I think it's disrespectful. It was a crazy choice. They won an Emmy for that theme song in season 2, an Emmy, and they decided to change it.
No, that theme song really united this nation more than our national anthem. I'm going to say that. Every Sunday when that show comes out, the past 2 seasons, it was notoriously a no-skip intro. Everybody stayed for the intro. Everybody sang the song on TikTok. Everybody was so excited. But no, they were met with something different. Now, if we know anything about Mike White and the show, is that everything is on purpose. Nothing is accidental. So I'm sure we may find out. Maybe there's going to be a meaning to this new song that we figure out down the line. But wow, what a disappointment.
What a disappointment. There better be meaning along down the line because we need a resurrection of this song. I want to hear it at the club. What did you think of the first episode? Were there any characters you thought were fun or weird?
When you were introducing Chelsea, who is the girlfriend in that weird odd couple, and she's from Sex Education, so I had seen her before, and she's one of those actresses that she doesn't have to do much to be funny. She just carries herself in a very humorous way, not as in we're like, oh, laughing at her, but sort of like Rebel Wilson. She doesn't have to say anything. She's just funny. And so I thought she was absolutely hilarious. There was one line that stuck out to me when they were sitting down for dinner and the waiter poured a little wine in her glass, like you're supposed to try it out. And she said,
Ooh, I don't mean to complain, but that's not very much.
She wants you to taste it.
like not realizing that she was just supposed to taste it. And I laughed out loud. And just her face is so she's such a unique face. And the delivery was wonderful. And so she stuck out to me.
It reminded me of the scene that she had with Greg, who's another character's girlfriend, where they're sitting at the bar and they meet for the first time. Chelsea goes, I love your outfit. And the girl goes, I love your teeth. That was crazy. That's so Chelsea coded, though. I adore it.
Oh, so that was funny. I also thought, in general, this episode had more laugh out loud funny moments than past episodes.
Mm-hmm.
It's all been very funny, but it's like, oh, that was funny, not ha 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 ha. That's funny, because there's a difference. And the other one was when Belinda, who is the employee who's there from season 1 on a work exchange, who's black, FYI, she saw other black guests and she had this whole her face, she was like, and looked over and then was on the phone with her son. There's black guests here.
Seeing Belinda in this new resort really made me think about the differences between seasons. So this season, even in the first episode, you can tell that there's a much bigger emphasis on where they are culturally, and then also in the high contrast with who the guests are. I think seeing white Western American tourists in Italy made a lot of sense. And also Hawaii, given that it's a part of the US, I guess it felt more, I don't know, it felt lower contrast to Thailand, which feels super high contrast, especially because they're at this wellness resort. And from the bat, the music is in Thai. You see a lot of, with the sculptures, the colors, the greenery, everything just really grounds you in the fact that they are in Asia and they're in Thailand and they're very, very far away from home. The monkeys are another thing I know they've made an emphasis to show, which I think is fascinating because it feels like something is happening there. So I think that the big realization for me is the wellness industry has obviously taken so many parts of Thai culture and Buddhist culture and monopolized it and used it for profit. So hot yoga is the easiest person I can think of. You do hot yoga to Doja Cat, and then you say namaste at the end, and then you go about your day, but you've just like appropriated 25 different things in the making of that. That one I don't actually have a problem with. I think go do your hot yoga and have your fun time. But this is such an extreme of going to the most expensive wellness resort, I assume, in Thailand, and doing no phones and meditation and wellness, and you're eating really clean food, and you're basically cosplaying as a Buddhist or a monk. Someone who's practicing the detachment from material goods and prayer and meditation and a focus on inner self, all of the things that are tenets of Buddhism. And then you complain about your phone and you're having the most obnoxious conversation about what college your kid's going to. And you're like, it's just the perfect setting to expose how much we have been brainwashed into thinking what wellness is for us in the West is so different than what like true wellness and meditation and all of that is in Asia in general, I'd say. I'm Indian. I can see it all the time. But that has been the best part for me, because I didn't realize when they were going to Thailand it would be so obvious that this is the commentary that they're poking at. It's like the whole wellness industry.
No, it's the perfect example of wealthy white people cosplaying a culture for just a little bit before they go back to their regular life. It's different. And I will say that I was annoyed for them finding out that there was no Wi-Fi in the suites. I'm just going to say that I think that that's insane if you're spending an egregious amount of money on a room and there's no Wi-Fi. I get it, wellness, but there should be an option, or like a little, like that's, and like the phone bag, like, I don't know, not for me, but I'm not dogging the hotel. Well, maybe I am. I think there should be an option.
It's the perfect example, though, of like one of those wellness retreats. Like they make you do so much, but most people can't do that much. Most people can't have no Wi-Fi for 3 days in the room, in your own personal room that you're paying for.
I will never understand it when people who have so many resources at their hands will purposely go to some place where all that is stripped away.
Yeah, they feel like they're touching grass. By far the best and worst part of White Lotus are the characters. They make me cringe and angry and happy and tearful all at the same time. But at the end of the day, I can see people I've met, people in my life, people I love, people I've met once at an airport through these characters so clearly and distinctly. And I think that's the genius in the writing. And so this season is no exception. So for example, there's this friend group, which we've never had in a White Lotus season. Very excited to see them. They stress me out.
First pick. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm happy with anything. Just being here with the three of us, I'm in heaven. I would sleep in a tree.
Oh, that's too generous
so
of you.
Nice.
And we're not getting any younger.
Well,
except you, Jack. You look amazing.
You look amazing.
But you look incredible.
You look incredible. You look the same as you did 20 years ago.
Oh, okay.
You both do. Yeah, but you look like...
It's these three friends. They grew up together. They're childhood friends, but they have very different lives right now. One of them is a famous actress. The other one is a corporate lawyer. And the third is a housewife.
These were the three characters that intrigued me the most. I described them to you, and when I was watching, I just thought that they remind me of like a gaggle of Ledoux moms. And for anybody who's never been to St. Louis or don't understand the politics of that city, Ledoux is one of the wealthiest suburbs in St. Louis. And going to high school there and elementary school close by, I got a good taste of what a Ledoux mom is like. And these three women are the perfect example. They're so... On the surface, you think, oh, they're such good friends. Oh, it's so cute, like girls' trip, so fun. But beneath the surface, there's so much unspoken jealousy and resentment that all of these women have towards each other that I am excited to see it explode. But the table scene, some crazy things were said.
We're all lucky.
We're so lucky.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I am always bragging that I know you, and people don't believe we're friends. And I'm like, I'm telling you, she's like one of my closest friends.
I was most flabbergasted by I think it was Jacqueline telling Lori. Jacqueline and Kate were going back and forth about their lives, and Kate was really going up Jacqueline's ass, like, you're on TV, blah, blah, blah. I always brag about you. And Kate's like, and Jacqueline's back to her, like, oh, but you have so many beautiful homes and your husband, philanthropy. And then they both turn to Lori and they're like,
Everything you do is just so hard. You know, you've always been so impressive. I mean, that corporate world is so tough.
and Lori's just like, thanks. Okay.
I think the words were, I think your daughter is going to turn out to be a really cool girl.
Yeah. And your daughter seems like she is turning into a really cool girl.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Is that a compliment? Because that's an I think. That's not even.
That's a backhanded compliment if I've ever heard. That means she's nothing, right? Like, she's
No,
not
that means
great
she's
right
a
now.
loser right now. She's a dweeb. It's so disrespectful. But it was fun to see the dynamic because Kate and Jacqueline clearly have this, who's your doctor? Who's your doctor? You're so great. You're so great. It's such a superficial, like surface level conversation about how much they love each other, but it really seems like they're jealous of one another. And Lori's to the side, but it seems like Lori isn't jealous of either of these women. She's jealous of the friendship that she perceives that they have.
And maybe like she just wants to be accepted. She just has been craving that. She's just like the black sheep who just wants that validation that she doesn't seem to get.
Totally. And that's so relatable. Being like the third one and the two people are talking about, their vacation or their some inside joke and you just are being left out. This one was very direct because it was also about physical features, which I thought was just so rude. You look 20, you look 20. And then they
You
both
look
look
13. You look 2 months old. You look like a fetus. I love you, Lori. Fuck. Just like, okay. Jacqueline, why don't you take a ladder and get out of her asshole? Like, it's crazy.
But it's also important to note, I think, that Jacqueline paid for the entire trip, which I thought was, I guess, I don't know. That's kind of crazy for me. That's kind of insane. I don't know. So I get the kissing ass because your friend has paid for you to be there. And it is obviously not a cheap place to be.
I'm excited. I'm excited for those three. The other characters that are very intriguing for me are the siblings in the Ratliff family. I immediately clocked that younger sibling is so weird. At first I was like, oh, it seems like he has a crush on his sister. And then the way he was looking at his brother, like something is, and then of course, like TikTok, you see so many things and people are like, something definitely happened between them in the past because that's why the daughter was fine, wanted the young one to sleep with her in her bedroom. And then he made it weird and we'll see, but strange.
They are strange, but she is also strange. The daughter really gave me weird vibes. Also, the reason the family's there, because her thesis is about Buddhism. And so she is going there to interview a monk. That is so crazy to me that the family decided to take a trip to Thailand so she could interview a monk. That's insane. But I thought that something weird was going on between the daughter and the eldest son, Saxton. They have a weird vibe. All of the siblings have incestuous energy to them.
What? How many bedrooms are there?
3. The master is through the common area, and then there is 1 bedroom on either side.
Okay, so Lucky, you're with me.
All
right.
You can sleep with me. I don't mind.
That'd be weird.
Why is it weird?
Genitals.
Saxon.
What?
That's a bad word.
So we end episode 1 with 2 very interesting scenes. One of them is the Ratliff family, where Saxton is going to the bathroom to watch porn and masturbate. And we see this shot of Lachlan staring at him while he begins to do it. And then Saxton closes the door, obviously hinting at some incestuous tendencies that we had. Very disturbing. Definitely, to me, the most disturbing part of the episode. Then we see the parents of Lachlan and Paxton in bed together. And the dad's very stressed about this article that's coming out from the Wall Street Journal. And the mom is hyping him up, saying, you have 3 beautiful kids who all adore you. You've done all of this work by yourself. Look at where we are. Trying to comfort him. But obviously there's something deeper growing. And that's all we get from episode 1. And there are a lot of unanswered questions. There's a lot of tension that's built up. And I can't really predict where the season's going, but there are so many theories about where it's
I came
going.
up with this theory, but I'm obsessed with it and need everyone to hear it. I don't know who's gonna die, but I think it's gonna be an accidental death like Tanya's, and it's gonna be because a monkey somehow gets a gun. Spoilers, but not really for the first episode of season 3. Literally in the scene right before the gunshots happen, it's pointed out how there's monkeys there, and throughout the whole episode it's just reinforced, wow, there's so many monkeys here. I love primates, I love monkeys, so let me tell you, they are smart.
This is one of the reasons that I'm enjoying watching it, coming out week after week. Normally I love a binge, but the social media storm that happens after the episode, everybody puts on their investigative journalism hats and makes TikToks analyzing, oh, well, the color of that room was this, and that color and that culture represents. It's like people have so much time on their hands, too much, that they're doing all these in-depth research theses about this show within a 1-minute TikTok video. So I learned a lot. Some of the conspiracies that are out there, the biggest is that dun, 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 the monkeys did the killing. You mentioned they really focus on the monkeys. And someone pointed out in that first scene with Belinda's son, there's a bunch of gunshots and everybody starts freaking out and running. But the gunshots, someone pointed out, sound so sporadic. It sounded like a monkey somehow got their hands on some assault weapons and just started shooting because that's why they didn't seem to have any targets. There was another very in-depth theory comparing the Ratliff family to the Peterson-Ratliff family that the show The Staircase was based on. A lot of similarities. There was an owl theory in that show, and so they think that the monkeys killed Victoria and the 3 children are hear no evil, see no evil, and speak no evil monkeys. I don't know. And then lastly, there was a poisonous fruit that was pointed out by the hotel staff in the Ratliff room, and it could be something as stupid as someone eating that fruit and not knowing and dying. So that's what TikTok says. The word on the TikTok street. That's the word.
The monkeys theory is absolutely insane.
People love, like, monkey things. Like, any primate killing humans is so scary, and people are so infatuated. Like, they love the cases about
It's such a horror movie trope.
But people are so into it.
But it's so random. Like, what? I mean, I don't even know who we could. The monkeys are so cute. They don't need to be murderers. Let them live.
Everybody's got something to hide. Take for me and my monkey.
Do you have any predictions? Who do you think dies and who do you think does the killing?
I think one of the friends in the trio. I don't know if one of them kills the other one or one of them is the murderer. I just feel like someone is going to die or someone is going to be a killer in that friend group. They feel like they have the most ready to combust. And I feel like they're the only ones that would take it out on each other unless it's like 2 different parties against one another. But I have a feeling that something horrible is going to happen. Aidan, what do you think? Do you also think it's friends or do you think it's someone else?
I think someone in the Ratliff family is going to die. I think it's going to be, actually, I could see an argument for any of them. I could see the mom getting mad at the husband for ruining their finances. I could see the youngest son killing the oldest son. I actually can't see the daughter dying. But I also think if the youngest son is responsible for the death, it would be an accident because he feels like he doesn't have a bone to murder somebody, but he'll like fuck up majorly because I'm sure he has before and daddy's got him out of it. But daddy's got no money no more. Daddy's going down. So I think it's a Ratliff.
If it's Belinda, I think we have to protest because Belinda is such a great character. If she ends up dying, I would never forgive Mike, Mr. White.
Well, no matter what happens, this is going to be a wild ride of a season. I'm sure we're going to learn a lot. We're going to love a lot. We're going to hate a lot. We're going to get to know the core of these characters over the next 8 weeks or so. And I'm excited.
I'm so excited. Every Sunday is going to be a treat, and it's going to be a fight to watch it first so that social media doesn't spoil what's happened in the episode, which is my favorite way to watch it. I'm excited we are going back to drops. This is good.
if you have watched it. Share your thoughts with us at Banterly at immigrantlypod.com and engage with us on our socials at Immigrantly Media on Instagram and at Immigrantly Podcast on TikTok.
Banterly is produced by Shay Yu, written by us, the co-hosts Maya, Shetty, and Aidan Taylor. The executive producer and editorial review is done by Sadia Khan.
Our sound designer and editor is Lou Raskin. The Banterly theme music is by Simon Hutchinson. Additional music is by Epidemic Sound.
See y'all next week.